Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about all relationships go downhill when this happens. So I've got four main things that happen when a relationship is about to go downhill or is going downhill that I'd like to go through with you. So if you notice these things happening in your relationship, you can rectify it, or if you at least know what these things are, then you'll be able to keep the magic alive long term and prevent these things from happening so your relationship stays intact. Okay, and it's also a good idea to share these with your partner as well, so you both have an idea of what keeps the relationship alive, and they're all really simple things too. Okay, so it's not going to be very difficult, but the difficult thing though is remembering these things. So make sure you come back to this video when you get into a relationship, or when things start to go sideways, or just come back to it every so often so you remember and keep on remembering these things, because it's when we lose focus of these things that a relationship can go downhill. Okay, so let's get into them. Let's without further ado. So first of all, the first one I want to talk about is relationships go downhill when the couple stops dating each other. I firmly believe the way that you get your partner is how you keep your partner. So you have to think back on how you were treating each other at the beginning of the relationship. What were you doing? What kind of activities were you doing? So for example, for me and my wife, when we first started dating, the things that we would do quite often is we would go out for walks together. We would bake together. We would, cuddle all the time and do that kind of like the intimacy stuff. So you got to think about the things that you were doing, and then you just continue to do those things. So me and my wife, we don't always, because we've got a kid now, so it can be a bit tricky, but we tend to go out on walks together as a family now. We still do that. We still bake with each other every now and again. And we still make an effort to, be close and to cuddle and do those things that we did at the beginning of the relationship. And we've always had a very good relationship. Now, I'm not saying that my relationship and my marriage is perfect, because it's not. Of course, we have ups and downs. Of course, we have disagreements. Everybody does. It's just a part of the process. It's just part of the condition of being with someone for a long time. Things go downhill. Have I forgotten to do these things with her? All the time. But I remember them. They're still the forefront of my mind. So because I coach it all the time, it's probably one of the things that helps, right? So I remember to do these things. I haven't forgotten these things. So whenever I feel like, we're arguing a bit more recently, what can I do to help things? And I think back on, okay, so what did we do at the beginning of the relationship? Okay, we went on walks, we did baking together, we were cuddling a lot. So I just go back to doing that. I say, why don't we go for a walk this weekend? Why don't we do this? And it usually puts things back into place, okay, when things go a little bit sideways. And it always does. And what you got to remember is that relationships are like a constant maintenance, right? So things can be really good, and then something happens, like something happens in the family, or you go through a really troubling time, or one of your mental health takes a dip for whatever reason, and things can go off course for a little bit. But if you know how to do these things, and especially with the dating each other and doing those things, that usually puts things back on track. But it's always about this constant, sort of like trying to get back on track a lot of the time, okay? And that's one of the ways that you can maintain it, if you continue to date each other and do the things that you did at the beginning of the relationship, okay? So just think back on the things that you used to do and think, how can I recreate this? Now, obviously, it can be a bit more difficult if, let's say, you've got more work commitments now, or you've got kids. But as long as you're at least trying to do something at minimum once or twice a month, to try, to date each other and to continue to do the things that you did at the beginning, should keep things on track until those problems have subsided, or when your children have grown up and you can go back to being a couple as well as just a family, okay? But the things they can easily slot in, okay? So if you can get yourself a babysitter, great, or a family member can come and babysit them or something like that. If you've got more work commitments, then it's just finding the time basically and trying to schedule it in. So another reason why relationships can go downhill and what to do, okay, is there's no more effective communication. Okay, now actually quite recently, my wife mentioned something to me. I remember we was driving, and she was driving, and she said, and basically this car just came out of nowhere, and she was eating at the time, and she dropped whatever she was eating. She was like, oh man, no, you made me drop. I can't remember what it was. It was probably something like a flapjack. She was like, oh, you made me drop my flapjack. Right? And I was like, oh, it's okay. Just pull over and just pick it up. And she's like, and she said to me, she just said, you know what? I know it's a bit of a cliche about women, but sometimes I just want to moan. And it just made me remember the things that I talk about and the things that I coach. Because I'm like, oh yeah, of course, sorry. I should have just let her moan and vent. I should have just been a soundboard of what she was feeling and been like, oh yeah, God, that's so annoying that you made you drop your flapjack. That's what I should have said. But it was just fun. It was just a fun little reminder of, women, especially if if let's say you're a man watching this, if your woman just wants to vent, just let her vent. Just be a soundboard. You don't have to offer a solution, because that's what I was doing in that situation. I was like, oh, well, just go to the side and just park up and grab your flapjack. But what she really wanted to do, she really just wanted to vent and be annoyed at the guy who made her drop her flapjack, right? So sometimes you got to think and remember to hold back and think, okay, so what does my partner really need in this moment? Do they need a solution, or do they just need, a soundboard and someone to validate their feelings? And it was just one of those little fun reminders for me. It was really effective for me as a coach, and really interesting. Okay, because I know to do that, but I guess I just forgot in that moment. But luckily, me and my wife's communication is so good that she will be honest with me and say, you know what, I just want to vent about this. I don't really want a solution, right? So it's pretty good to have that communication. So you got to have effective communication and to keep on talking to your partner, because even with guys, I think sometimes they just want to vent as well. It's not just a woman trait. You don't always have to offer a solution to your partner. Just be annoyed with them, and then once they've got over their annoyance or their sadness or whatever emotion they're experiencing, then try and pull them up by joking with them, laughing with them, and bring them back up. Because obviously you don't want to stay down in the mud. Like if your partner's upset about something, it's not a good idea to be staying down with them all the time. Once you've validated their feelings and understood them, so they feel understood, then try and lift them back up, so you can have you're not spending all day in a bad mood, basically. So if there's no more effective communication and both people are just not caring about what the other person is feeling and experiencing, and they're not taking the time to talk to each other because they'd rather be doing something else, like scrolling on their phone, watching Netflix, playing video games, go and play golf, go fishing, going out to the salon with their friends, whatever it may be. Okay, sometimes you got to be able to sit with your partner and talk to them about the things that are bothering them. It's very, very important. If you don't do that, then that's one of the key things that's going to make sure that your relationship goes downhill eventually. Okay, so another thing is there's no more presence. So this kind of plays on a little bit more with what I've just discussed. So when you get home from work, or when your wife gets home from work, or your husband, or whatever it may be, you got to be with your partner, right? You got to be really present with them and be able to talk to them, right? So if your partner is talking to you about something and it's really important, you can tell by their voice that they really want to talk right now, and you're just dismissing them because you'd rather be on your phone or watching Netflix, playing video games, then you're not being present with them. And what they'll feel that you don't care, that you care more about your TV, you care more about your phone, you care more about the activity that you're doing, rather than talking to them when they're clearly upset about something or need help with something or have a concern. Okay, so you got to be able to be present with them. So you got to be in tune and consciously aware of when your partner is talking to you, and stop whatever it is that you're doing. That's the best thing to do. The best thing to do when your partner comes up to you is to stop whatever it is that you're doing and listen to them. So turn away from the TV, turn the TV off, put your phone down, put your game controller down, whatever it may be, and listen to them and talk to them. And that will show that you care. Okay? And even if it's just a little concern, what they're really searching for is that you care and that you are interested. And if it's literally stop what you're doing, and they can see the action of you stopping whatever it is that you're doing to be with them, to be present with them, then they won't ever question that you don't care. They will know that you care, because no matter every single time that they come to you, they know that you're going to be present with them. okay? And that makes a huge difference. So you got to be more present with them, okay? So a relationship will don't go downhill when both people are just no longer present and they'll just rather be doing other activities and they don't care. Basically, they just don't care. So another, the last one that I want to get into is that there's no more respect, okay? So one of the examples that I hear about, and I think it's from the 7 Principles of Marriage, and I think I heard of this specific example from Jordan Peterson, and he said about how this couple was at maybe it's like this retreat or something, and they were trying to get their marriage back on track, and the wife said was at the window, right, and she said, "Oh, look at the bird. There's a bird out there," and the husband just sort of went, oh. He sort of had this like and this is basically a Freudian slip, this sort of like this annoyance, right, of like, oh, I've got to get up, I've got to go over to the window and look at the bird. I think that's what the example was. But anyway, the truth still stands whether I got that example right or wrong. When it gets to that point where like people are rolling their eyes at each other and they're just going, oh, I can't believe she's doing that again. I can't believe I've got to do this. It's showing a lack of respect for that person anymore, a lack of interest in their interests. And it all just comes from this lack of respect, okay? So, maybe you've got something that's really, really important to you. And even though perhaps your partner doesn't really care about it, right? They don't say anything about it that's going to hurt your feelings because obviously it means something to you. It's important to you. So they have respect for you. If they don't respect you and they don't like whatever it is that you don't like, then they're going to say, that thing is silly, that thing's stupid, you should stop doing that. That's what they're going to do, because they no longer respect you. Someone that loves you and cares about you will care about the things that you care about. And even if they don't care about doing them themselves, they will care that you care, and they'll be careful about that subject because it's something that's important to you. So that's just an example. But when there's no more respect, then that's one sure way that the relationship is going to go downhill very, very fast. So anyway, those are the things that go downhill, the things that basically portray that a relationship is about to go downhill. So if you'd like more help with your relationship or your marriage, then please go to my website www.christineloveridge.com and click on whichever coaching option works best for you. But I do have plenty of coaching videos on relationships and marriages on my channel, so it's not necessary. And obviously this video is a great one that you can come back to. But if you do feel like you need help with a specific situation in your marriage or you as a couple, then please get in touch. And I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.